First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the Regional Bureau for Science and Culture in Europe UNESCO Venice office and Mediterranean Information Office for inviting me for a small intervention at the opening of the e-learning course of the Asterousia Hybrid University on management of biosphere reserves and other designated areas. In this unprecedented crisis for all of the humanity and the challenges that we are facing as humanity, biodiversity issues and biosphere reserves are issues of priority, indicating to us that pandemics are not a health crisis, but most of all is an environmental crisis, mainly because of the extinction of biodiversity, the elimination of ecosystem, as a result of the dominance of humans to the natural systems. Having the honor to lead important initiatives such as UNEC ESD Steering Committee, I would like to say that such initiatives as the Asterousia University on management of biosphere reserves are critical and key priorities for the future of education and especially for quality education. For those that you don't know UNEC as the steering committee, I would like to mention that according to its term of reference is the mechanism for promoting ESD in UNEC region through the implementation of the UNEC ESD strategy and the provision to the governments the tools and the process for integrating ESD effectively in all aspects of life through formal, informal, and non-formal education. In these challenging times where the scientific and educational community discussing about the future of education, UNEC ESD Steering Committee is also reconsidering its mission and mainly sets the new priorities for the next decade through the new UNEC ESD Strategic Planning 2030, which is based on some critical questions, which has to do with how do we address COVID-19 and how will we capitalize on lessons learned in order to revisit and reassess the relation between society and nature as we see that biodiversity and natural habitats are under serious risks and an increasing animal-human contact is the root cause of serious infections through zoonosis and other poorly understood transmission pathways. Also, another critical question that we are trying to answer through this new strategic planning is how do we address the nexus of water, energy, food ecosystem security without sound policies and lifestyle adjustments to mitigate and adapt to climate change. These questions, of course, prerequisites to go in depth and provide solutions and specific practices on how we prepare educational institutions and organizations to inform their teaching context by high-quality scientific knowledge, complemented by ethical values and indigenous knowledge, and how the above could be reflected to transformative pedagogies that prepares learners for change. Based on these critical questions, the UNECSD Steering Committee Strategic Planning 2030, based on UNESCO ESD for 2030 framework for the period 2021 to 2030, aiming to provide the collective experience of the region, which has a very significant tradition and work on ESD. Obviously, the aim of sharing the UNEC experience is to benefit not only the region and its neighborhood, but also other regions. Particular emphasis is given by UNEC ESD Strategic Planning 2030 to closely link ESD with the SDGs beyond SDG 4 for education, and specifically SDG 4.7 for ESD and SDG 17 for promoting international efforts and cooperation partnerships and knowledge platforms. The UNCSD strategic planning for 2030 is an ambitious but fully aware of the momentum of change and crisis we are in. The UNCSD strategic planning is developed on 4 strands that reflect the major needs for ESD as an integral part of educational systems and society as a whole, aiming to enable people to learn, live, and work in a planet that is more prosperous, just, creative, healthy, and sustainable. The strategic planning, as I have already said, developed in those 4 strands, which are quality education and ESD, and seeks to embed ESD into national and transnational quality assurance and enhancement mechanisms and processes. ESD expands the traditional concepts of education and considers every community of practice that leads to sustainability as a learning community. Whole institution approach as communities of transformational learning and process not just formal education settings, but also settings that are not necessarily associated with pedagogical practice, such as institutions providing non-formal education and informal education in public and private sectors. In fact, whole institution approach through the ESD strategic planning has to prepare learners for a whole system view, opening the minds for systemic thinking, willingness and ability to contact policies for addressing problems and act accordingly. Digital education, ICT and ESD is the third strand, and the challenge of this strand is to use these tools in a proper way to support the necessary transformations towards more sustainable futures, both within formal education and non-formal settings, as well as in various learning schemes such as TVET. Finally, the 4th strand of UNCSD strategic planning is the entrepreneurship, employment, innovation on ESD, aiming to enhance and provide opportunities for people, especially youth, to develop their creativity by providing them with competences and learning conditions where they can develop their personalities and contribute to personal and community change and transformation towards sustainable development. Of course, we must not ignore the initiatives and the leading role of our region, Mediterranean region, on ESD, as a result of the adaptation and integration of the Mediterranean strategy on ESD. A strategy that the leading role is in Cyprus and is working under the great support of the Mediterranean Information Office and brings together MED countries to work jointly on common challenges, providing them with opportunities to work together to find solutions that will make our societies more inclusive, just, and sustainable. The Mediterranean strategy on ESD can be considered as an example on how a strategy can bring countries together to share a common vision, to set common tasks, to understand that all of us together, as a part of the problem, we are also part of the solution, and collaboratively we can operate as catalyst of change. Mediterranean region with the Mediterranean strategy on ESD has the privilege to consider as the pioneer on ESD. The MED strategy on ESD provides a unique opportunity to Mediterranean countries to identify their particular problems such as climate change, protection of the biodiversity, saving water, strengthening of equity and inclusivity, and adopt measures that respond exclusively to the particular social, cultural, and environmental context of the MED countries. Also, Mediterranean strategy on ESD operate as the framework of networking and the mechanism of bilateral, multilateral, and regional cooperation between countries. It operates as a concrete platform for learning from each other, strengthening dialogue and exchanging of ideas on ESD. The Mediterranean strategy strengthens the feeling of social responsibility on SDGs and enhances the common feeling that the Mediterranean is our ecos, which means our home. And only together we can create a better and sustainable future. Biosphere reserves can operate as a great educational tool to understand our relation with the land and the nature, to learn about our culture and understand that our existence, prosperity, and well-being depends on the protection and conservation of ecosystems. Biosphere reserves can help us to meet local communities and interacting and promote interaction with local populations. Can operate as a place of informal learning on ESD, which can help educators to enhance their teaching and learning on ESD, and students to acquire competences that are not easily obtained through traditional education. Biosphere reserves as a system can help us to understand critical concepts on ESD teaching, such as systemic thinking, interdisciplinary learning, and help people to be creative and innovative. With that opportunity, I would like to before concluding, I would like to say that I'm sure that this online course, it will be a great opportunity for you to develop knowledge and competences on the multiple values of biosphere reserves as catalyst for sustainable development. I'm sure that this course will help you to understand the importance of protecting and reserve our biodiversity as intrinsic element for reconnecting people with the land and the biodiversity culture by providing to you opportunities for interaction, exchanging ideas and examples amongst people from various countries from the Mediterranean region. Thank you.